Casey Neistat revolutionized the vlogging scene when he went daily on the 25th of March in 2015. But what did he do different that made him among the fastest growing channels on YouTube? Let's get straight into dissecting Casey Neistat. Now, every YouTuber's content can be broken down into three major categories: content, cinematography, and editing. While every YouTuber places a varying degree of emphasis on each, I would argue that Casey's success comes down to a heavy emphasis on all three. Now, everyone knows Casey's glasses, his camera setup, and his many boosted boards. Casey himself talks about these things a lot, and all these things work together to create a strong sense of branding. While branding is integral to a YouTuber's success, it does not exclusively exist within videos. Casey's caricature of a boosted board mounted, gorilla pod wielding, Ray-Ban bearing icon keeps him memorable and individual, though perhaps more importantly, recognizable in any situation.
Oh my gosh! Casey Neistat!
His glasses alone are a branding goldmine, and his wife even capitalizes on this in her jewelry business. My point is that Casey as an icon, with all the various nicks and knacks, stems from the content of the video, but exists as something much greater, and is less about making the content more interesting as opposed to recognizable. Moving on to the content of the video, we all wish we had Casey's life. There's a dynamic, exciting lifestyle of work versus family, adventure versus home. These four themes are of great importance to Casey, and they make up the bulk of the content. We're happy to watch a slow Q&A episode because we know that tomorrow will probably be more exciting. We love seeing Francine grow up and Casey visiting his family because we knew that the other half of the time he'll be flying around the world. While most vloggers are predominantly travel vloggers or family vloggers or something else, Casey is predominantly a storyteller. There's a strong drive to come back each day to watch his videos because we never know what story it may tell. In the past, he has skipped vlogs because he just didn't have a story to tell, and this encompasses his drive for creation perfectly. To discuss his content in a more applicable way, seeing as almost no one lives Casey's kind of life, the takeaway is simple.
Story. Story is all that matters.
So you visited another country. Why does anyone care? You started a business. That sounds boring. You have an electric skateboard. Cool the first time, but are people really going to come back to you and watch you every day because of that? Casey puts his heart into telling a story that people want to hear. The point is, to really make videos like Casey, your content is worthless without a story. It needs a reason to live. Which leads perfectly into my next category, cinematography. It's common to see a lot of budding filmmakers shoot beautiful shots that have no real purpose. I'm definitely guilty of this, and really, I don't believe there's a problem with it. It just doesn't have the same level of engagement that the complete package would have. Casey's drone shots are a good example of a couple of things. One, it definitely has a reason to be there. It shows off his environment. It's the vlogger's equivalent to an establishing shot. Two, and if we're being realistic, probably the main reason we see it so much is because it adds production value. Typically, vlogging is almost a barren wasteland when it comes to production value, and this is perhaps Casey's biggest influence on the vlogging scene. When vloggers had it easy, they would carry around small point-and-shoots that would fit in a decently sized pocket. From the get-go, Casey upped the standards and expectations of all vloggers by using a full-blown DSLR as his main vlogging camera. True, we definitely still see G7X footage in his vlogs, but just about every vlog will have DSLR footage used at some point or another. Now, with his departure from the vlogging scene, we still see traces of Mr. Neistat in many other vloggers' videos, many opting to shoot with a DSLR or mirrorless camera. Obviously, cinematography extends far beyond the gear used, and Casey knows this. Somehow, he managed to practically trademark the time-lapse. Now every other vlogger wanting to add some production value to their videos can be called a Casey wannabe by adding in some time-lapse footage. I'm joking, but the YouTube comments seem to believe that Casey holds the rights to it. Beyond that, Casey does seek interesting angles and perspectives, but being a daily vlog, this can really only be pushed so far. Most of the shots still just being of his face, but even those are somewhat artistic. It's worth mentioning, however, that even the background in your videos plays an important part. Casey says,
Functionality breeds its own aesthetic.
And he has definitely constructed an interesting backdrop for the bulk of his talking head shots. These shots are just far more interesting than my bedroom. The obvious takeaway is find interesting places to stand. Casey has the benefit of owning an interesting looking studio, but even then, he will often start what he is saying with one backdrop, before cutting to the next before finishing, which allows us to segue into the next topic, which is editing. Casey has a distinctive editing style. Casey's cuts are some of the most conscious cuts you can find on YouTube. His cuts are deliberate even beyond storytelling and gives us insight into his ability to understand audience retention and interesting subject matter. He frequently cuts mid-sentence because the audience already understands what it is he wanted to communicate and he's ready to move on.
And I should say at first, I was like, this is never. But as the conversations progress,
Casey makes it clear that time is invaluable and he doesn't want to abuse his privilege of having some of yours. On YouTube, there is a sometimes spoken rule that no shot should be longer than 11 seconds. This probably changes over the years due to audience retention, and a couple of years ago I might have said 11 seconds is way too long. Though, with recent changes to the way YouTubers get paid, it has become more profitable for YouTubers to create videos roughly around the 10-minute mark. This is a push against the once far more common 3 to 4 minute standard, and so expecting less than 11 seconds for every shot is not so feasible in this 10-minute era. The 11-second standard can probably be seen less in vlogs just because of the nature of the content, but if you have a look at Casey's cuts, majority of them are in fact shorter than 11 seconds. In one of Casey's final vlogs, the average shot length was about 4.9 seconds. This is probably a little bit misleading because some shots are very short and some shots are quite a bit longer than 11 seconds, and this is just the mean value. But it should be noted that there is a kind of tempo happening here. There are highs and lows in terms of shot length, with the longer talking shots being sandwiched between quick cuts to keep things interesting. It's pretty simple. Cut out boring shots and anything that doesn't need to be there, and don't have long shots back to back. And remember to sprinkle about short little clips to keep the audience interested. Aside from the cuts, there's a few sound effects scattered throughout, and plenty of big white text. The big white text is something that many people are scared to do. Sometimes there will be 0 pixels between his text and the edge of the video. In design, it's often easy to keep things standard and medium sized. But as one of my design teachers once said, if you're gonna make something big, make it big. Casey's big text stands out because we just don't ever see text that big on YouTube. Everyone else keeps it restrained. It's worth noting that Casey isn't a god and he wasn't handed the secret book of viral vlogging 101, and I'm sure there are plenty of things that are wrong with his videos. But this video is about what he did that worked, so we're gonna leave it at that. And then of course, on November 19, 2016, the world heard the news.
I really am ending the vlog.
Many mourned the death of their favorite daily show, while Casey assured all that content would not stop. Interestingly enough, as shown in his following movie, The Vietnam Notebook, Casey seems to have reverted to his pre-vlogging style. But that is a topic for another day. Thanks for watching. I really hope you liked this video, and I really hope you liked this direction that I'm taking my channel. Leave a comment who you want me to dissect next, and I will be back soon with that video.